Well, there's so much talk about sexuality and black people and who's doing what and who's accused of what. Some of it I think is true, and some of it I think is not true. And this is what the white supremacists thrive on, because what you have now is what? The one thing that they always want in any situation, in any area of activity, and that is what? Confusion. All right? Set doubt in people's minds. Set all kinds of things, and they definitely believe in sexual scandals, you might say. They thrive on that. Any kind of scandal, anything dealing with sex, make it scandalous, all right? Whether it's allegations of what you might call harassment or allegations of rape. Sometimes there actually was rape. There's a lot of rape that goes on in the system of white supremacy. The white supremacists thrive on rape. They rape whole continents, all right? Rape means carrying away by force or doing something deceptive. I mean, you know, underhanded, not just sexually, but in all areas of activity. So they certainly want it to be something as powerful as sex. They want that to be scandalous. They want it to be something horrific or something that's totally out of order when it comes to non-white people, all right? I mean, just a total mess. Anything sexual, if it applies to non-white people, is supposed to be, according to the white supremacists, a total mess of all types. Sexuality, as applies to non-white people in the system of white supremacy, is supposed to be just as messy as anything can get. And that's what they have always made it. So how do you react to it? Well, there are several ways, but recently in the code, I put it in there that you simply say that if anybody brings up anything about your sexuality that sounds suspicious, like they have ill intent, and you're going to discuss it with them, or you agree to talk about it, you say one thing: none of my sexual activities have resulted in replacing the system of white supremacy with the system of justice. I'm going to repeat that again. This is the universal response. Anytime anybody approaches you and start talking about anything dealing with your own sexuality, your own sexual experiences, or whom you've been with, when, where, and all like that, your standard response, and you'll stick with it, and that'll be your statement that you can just consistently say and never say anything else, ever. And that is, none of my sexual activities, sir or ma'am, none of my sexual activities have resulted in replacing the system of white supremacy with the system of justice. Now, that's in the textbook as a standard response when somebody wants to talk. See, a lot of times white people want to talk to black people about their sexuality, all right, even on a job or something like that. They're not going to tell you anything about theirs, but they'll probe into yours, and a lot of black people do a whole lot of talking, all right? You know, sometimes black males do a lot of bragging. Black females just sit up at the coffee table or at lunch table and just tell all their sexual business. I mean, you know, entertaining the white ladies there, all right? No, you just simply say, none of my sexual activities have resulted in replacing the system of racism with the system of justice. Now, why do you give that kind of response? Because in the system of white supremacy, that's what sexuality is supposed to be for, to replace the system of racism with the system of justice. All other sexuality, regardless of what form it takes, is supposed to be wasted time and energy. If that's not your purpose for engaging in any type of sexual activity at all, flirtations or anything, office flirtations, factory worker comments, anything, you should always have in mind, does this help to replace the system of racism with the system of justice? Otherwise, nobody, white or non-white, is supposed to be interested in sex at all. Period. If it doesn't have something to do, directly and indirectly, with helping to replace the system of racism with the system of justice. Now, where's the logic in this? In all of the areas, economics, education, entertainment. If you're in the entertainment field or in the education field, your purpose for breathing is supposed to be, how does this help to replace the system of racism with the system of justice? Why? Because the system of racism is the biggest problem on the planet. And you're going to have every kind of problem you can name in the field of sex, the eighth area of activity, if you don't solve the problem of racism. Sex is going to be a problem, just like economics is going to be a problem, education, entertainment, labor, law, politics, religion is going to be all messed up on account of what? Racism. All right? So everything, including sex, is supposed to be about how does this help to replace racism with justice and correctness. Otherwise, why am I doing it? Because every move that you make in the system of racism, truth be told, and if you believe in spending your time correctly, is supposed to be, with it in mind, this is somehow going to help to end racism and replace it with justice. Otherwise, you got no business doing it. I don't care what it is.